Hiking Morris Peak. Parking in Walker Pass Campground is 9.5 miles west of the intersection of Highway 14 and Highway 178. The Pacific Crest Trail is accessed from there, where it crosses Highway 178 and continues north toward Morris Peak. The difficulty rating for the hike, as presented, is moderate to strenuous. The hike begins. I chose to leave from Walker Pass Campground. Roadside parking is available on Highway 178 at the Walker Pass marker. I made a quick left on the PCT going north. An actual bobcat sighting on the PCT.
Got ourselves a bobcat.
It was busy stalking prey, but I couldn't wait all day. Eventually, this PCT hiker was coming through. Finally, I'm spotted. No, he kitties was going to make it come back. Nice way to start out on the Pacific Crest Trail for the day, at least for me. Then, like an old man spilling his soup all over the table, a bad cat impression happens. If I try really hard, I might figure out how to open the gate. Good thing I tried really hard after guessing wrong a few times. Now, to reach Highway 178. Time to cross Highway 178. This looks to be a good place to park to begin the hike. Continuing on the PCT north. Entering the Owens Peak Wilderness. The PCT elevates gradually toward higher overlooks. The well-graded gradual uphill is typical quality of the PCT. I turned out to be the only fool on the trail on this hot day in July. The PCT passes some lower peaks on the way. I incorrectly assumed that Morris Peak was just ahead. This turned out to be more than a visual mistake, but an actual sidetracking mistake down the line. It was instead Peak 6980, the peak before reaching Morris Peak. While thinking that I was about to ascend Morris Peak, here I go up Peak 6980. This is at about 3.5 miles in. I left the PCT to do a cross-country climb of the peak. I was thinking at this point, for an HPS summit like Morris Peak, why does it look like nobody has ever walked out here? The first fall summit was overhead. Making my way in a personally chosen route of least resistance up the slope. After climbing the second fall summit, it finally solidified in my mind that I probably made a mistake in leaving the PCT too early. After scrambling and bushwhacking, what do I see ahead? That demoralizing moment when realizing that the peak I wanted to climb was still far away. Giving a little extra effort, I was finally closing in on what I thought was Morris Peak. It wouldn't be a quick and easy conquest, though. It wasn't until I crested that I realized that the next peak over is actually Morris Peak.
That's Morris right over there.
As a consolation prize, at least I got credit for summiting a surprise peak. Peak 6980. But I didn't know it until I opened the register.
Actually, this is peak 6980. As I guessed, Mount Morris would be right over there. Morris Peak. And then that's Jenkins over here. So it's good to be on 6980. Woo!
Instead of backtracking on familiar ground, I pressed forward and dropped down the north slope to the PCT. A successful descent. I returned to the PCT at long last. Finally, Morris Peak was in striking distance. Now, to find the actual Morris Peak access trail. Reaching the saddle between the two peaks and leaving the PCT. More than one trail option continued toward Morris. It didn't take long for me to follow the wrong used trail. My instincts seemed way off out here.
I'm currently on the eastern slope of Morris Peak. I got a lot of uphill to go up here. I don't have any clear route, and I'm pretty worn out from climbing 6980, and it's starting to get hot, running low on water. I think I'm taking the right step here by saying I'm going to bail out on this one, and I'm going to go ahead and try this again some other time, some other route. I'm sure there's a better way up here than the way I chose this time around. So I'll just close it out here and just start heading back.
1 minute later, when cutting across the slope, I found the used trail. I regained that spring in my step and continued climbing the peak. After so many emotional hiking swings on the day, it felt good to actually be closing in on the peak on the proper trail. Reaching a spot between the two high points on the summit. I went up the lower summit first.
All right. This one appears to be the false summit. Just have to head over there, see if we can find the register and make it official.
Then, I reached the official summit.
Look at there. We got ourselves a benchmark. All right. A Morris benchmark. Now, there's a register up there. There it is. I'll have to check that out. Do another benchmark. Stand on top. And I can officially declare that victory is sweet. This was a hard-fought battle today on a hot summer day. It didn't help that I couldn't find the use trail leading up here, so I crossed country to half the way, and I made it. So there's the peaks on the way back, and you can see the Pacific Crest Trail cutting through there. That'll be my return route, and once I get down to it, it'll be smooth sailing all the way back.
Famous last words, indeed. Descending the Summit Use Trail. Viewing Peak 6980 after conquering both peaks. Returning to Morris Saddle and pointing out the right route. That's about the extent of the help I can give. Back to the PCT. Returning south on the PCT. After running out of water, I had to abandon adding some lower peaks on the way back. But at least, that just gives me the excuse I need to come back again someday. Returning to Highway 178. Mission accomplished. The hike in review. Starting at Walker Pass Campground, I proceeded north on the PCT. The target was Morris Peak. I eventually reached it, but after a long unanticipated side visit to Peak 6980. A use trail led to Morris Peak where I was able to declare victory. It was a long hike back, though, where water was rationed on the return.